140 or even below 140 or so. So China is one of the poorest countries in the world in terms of personal income. So China may be powerful from China as nation, but China is extremely poor if you talk about Chinese as individuals. So I think there's a lot of interchange that can happen, that at that level between India and China, that will be beneficial to both. But my concern is probably a little bit different from yours. One of the major issues in China today is this inability to relate herself today, China, with more than 5,000 years of its own history. The relationship is tension-ridden, it's very difficult to adjust. And the failure of China to appreciate some of the best cultural resources that the Chinese tradition has offered. India, just the opposite. And India's respect for the artists, for the musicians, for the dancers, for the devotional singers, and so forth, something beyond understanding in China. India is one of the very few societies that are able to withstand the incredible aggressiveness of Hollywood. Right? And if you can withstand Hollywood, you know how powerful you are. And the Tagore, I hope that he became popular. I think he's really a great candidate for the Secretary General of the United Nations. Tagore has made the observation that India may be poor, but it's one of the greatest exporting civilizations in terms of human spirituality. I think I agree with you there too.
May I continue just with half a second more? Is India probably recognized with having one of the urban's most terrible slums, for instance, as well as poverty? I don't think you've answered my question.
If you want me to find a cause for the Indians' current situation in purely economic terms, I'm not qualified. That's not my area of concern. And I think you probably asked the wrong person to offer you the answer. But I think we should understand India also in terms of its rich resources in human spirituality. If you say spirituality doesn't contribute to economic growth, I agree with you. Some of the greatest minds in Europe, in the medieval Europe, turned out to be monks. And these monks live in their monasteries and cultivate the art of poverty. As you know, the importance of Francis and so forth. So I think one question we need to ask ourselves now, especially in your case, involved in Indian study, we need to be critical of some of the things obviously wrong. We need to be sympathetic of some of the things that may appear to be wrong on the surface, but some very deeper concerns that need to be fully understood. Let me give you an example. I think this is exciting for me. The first time I visited India was 1971. And I visited India numerous times. Once I was invited by the Indian Council of Philosophical Research to be a national lecturer. And the idea is to stay in India for at least a month, to visit 5 cities, and also to give at least 10 lectures. And when I was in India for the first time, I lived in Madras, a nice hotel. The busboy that became my friend invited me to his home for tea Sunday afternoon. I went. That slum was the worst kind that you can imagine. But there was just a little bit of maybe a paper or map with his mother and his wife, 2 children, and serve a little bit tea. And in that situation, it's poverty-stricken. You know, according to the UN estimation, any family that fails to earn $2 or $1 a day is poverty-stricken. It's really poverty-stricken. I was there for about an hour, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I had tremendous respect for this person. And so I do not judge a society, at least especially a great civilization, by only one kind of quantitative measure. If we want to do that, we have a totally wrong idea about what human society is really, the meaningfulness of human society. I'll give you one very interesting quote from an economist, I forgot her name. She said there's so many things that the economic growth, or GDP, GNP, will not be able to measure, such as our happiness, our sense of beauty, our health, our spiritual well-being, friendship, numerous other qualities of life that cannot be measured. So I hope that with your experience in India, you continue to look beyond simply the manifestation of poverty, of this urban situation, and see what are some of the other possibilities. I'll give you one other example. Precisely because out of the 200 million Indians who consider themselves part of the middle class, and maybe 10 million or 20 million are totally fluent in English. So the Indian intellectuals or intelligentsia is extremely cosmopolitan. Like my colleagues Amata Singh or Homi Bhabha, who's a scholar in the humanities.